Hello, everybody. Welcome back. If you like content like this, please be sure to give a like and subscribe. Or comment if you have anything in your story that you want to talk about, or if there's any kind of therapeutic quality to your comments. I'm pleased to hear it and respond. Now, in this video, I want to talk about the scapegoats in toxic families and narcissistic families, or even in just narcissistic relationships in general. Now, what exactly is a scapegoat? Well, a scapegoat is basically the person in the family unit, in the toxic family unit, that bears the burden of the toxicity and is usually accused of being sick mentally without any kind of real evidence for it. There's a lot of gaslighting to be played on the scapegoat. The scapegoat is also accused of being the person that causes trouble in the relationship in the toxic family, and is also usually the person that everybody in the toxic family blames for all the problems within the family unit, even though the scapegoat is the one that is trying to solve the problems. The scapegoat is the person in the family that sees the toxicity and wants to improve it and wants to heal it. And then the flying monkeys around the narcissist, because usually in the narcissistic family unit or the toxic family, there's usually at least one narcissist. And that person's emotions and feelings overrides everybody else's around the family unit. There is a hierarchy of feelings in this family unit. And the hierarchy of feelings puts the narcissist on top and then everybody else below. And usually the scapegoat is at the bottom of this hierarchy. The reason being is because the scapegoat is usually the one that doesn't understand why things are happening the way that they are and wants to actually help everybody involved, and usually has a lot of bullying or put downs placed on them. For example, you might be told that if you're the scapegoat in the narcissistic family, that you don't have your head screwed on just right, or you're just way too sensitive for the conflict that's really occurring. It's not that big of a deal. The thing that is most important to remember about being in a narcissistic family unit or a toxic family is that you have to focus on the good things about you. And you have to learn how to forgive yourself. Forgiving them is going to be a challenge, don't get me wrong. But forgiving yourself is going to be perhaps the most difficult part of this healing journey as a scapegoat. I say this as a scapegoat myself. And one of the biggest things that I learned is that arguing is not going to help any part of the situation. You will absolutely not get the narcissist to see your point of view. It absolutely will not happen. And even if they do see it, they will deny it. They will absolutely deny it. And you might even have a smear campaign used against you in effect to damage your professional reputation, to damage your purity, to damage your innocence, to damage any kind of possible outcome that makes the narcissist actually look like the victim in this case. The biggest thing that you can do as a scapegoat in the healing process is to fully accept responsibility and to fully move on from the situation altogether. You have to remember to give compassion to yourself. You have to remember that you can give yourself permission to not be involved with such a toxic family unit. There's no need for anybody to be involved in such toxicity. You know, it's really funny. Like, until I actually got out of these toxic family units and the toxic situations that I was in, and I started actually attracting healthier relationships into my life, it wasn't until then that I realized how easy it can be to be around healthy people. I don't feel like I'm under attack. I don't feel like I have to defend myself all the time. I actually feel more creative, and I actually feel more peace, just at peace. And there really is no price on your peace. And especially as a scapegoat, you know, you likely have been adopting a pattern unnecessarily within your household or within your family unit that completely disregards your own feelings and your own wants and needs as a human being. Now, the most challenging aspect of recognizing the pattern is being able to be self-reflective and grant yourself compassion before you grant the toxic people compassion. Because if you're stuck in that pattern, you're going to give other people compassion before you give yourself compassion. But the thing is that you really cannot give true, honest compassion to any other person unless you can give it to yourself first. And if you don't know how to give it to yourself, you're kind of shit out of luck. There's just no way to help you. There's no way to really help you see what's going on because you're stuck in a mental loop, right? So you're stuck in the mental loop of psychological distress, and you're addicted to the distress. And you think to yourself, well, I don't want to be addicted to the distress. Like, I don't want to. Well, you kind of do. And it's not exactly your fault or anybody else's fault, really, in the situation. It's just that your brain has become accustomed and your lifestyle has become accustomed to associating distress with comfort. And you associate distress with security. Because for so long, if you didn't have the distress, you wouldn't get the security. And if you didn't have the stress, you wouldn't get the safety. So you're going to have to relearn how to unlearn certain things. And so when I actually got out of the toxic family unit and the toxic situations that I was in, and I actually really took a step back and really examined myself, I realized how I was honestly degrading my own masculinity. I was degrading my own sense of personhood. I was degrading my own respect for myself. And it took me years to figure out and to learn how to relearn how to give myself self-love and respect. And it takes time, right? It takes dedication, and it takes a true commitment to wanting things to be better, and a true understanding that you're going to have to let things go sometimes if it's not right for you. Now, what exactly does it mean to let go? Again, these can be any kind of boundaries that you can set. It can be any kind of just time away, or you might have to go no contact completely in certain situations. In my case, I had to go no contact. It was hell. It was absolute hell. And I do not ever want anybody to go through anything like what I had to go through, which is why I'm making these videos. So I really want to encourage people to educate themselves on this topic and to understand truly what it means to be in a toxic family unit. I don't like how so many people nowadays throw out the word toxic so easily. I don't take this word lightly. And so, and the reason being is because you don't really know what toxic is until you've dug your way out of the pits of hell and into the stairway to heaven, where you can actually walk again, step by step, going to someplace better than it was before. Nobody really knows what that's like until they've experienced it. And that's why, as a scapegoat, if you try to talk to other people, maybe your friends or other people that you may know, other people within the family that is outside of your immediate family, they might not even understand what really is going on. And the reason that they don't understand what is really going on is because of one of two reasons in my experience. Number one is they just haven't experienced it, so they don't really know what you're really talking about. And the narcissist this person that you're trying to tell about the narcissistic behaviors of the narcissist too is so used to the image of the narcissist that they don't understand how the image isn't really what is matched up in their mind. Or number two, it's just that this person is a flying monkey that you're trying to talk to within the other part of the family unit. Excuse me. And they don't even see that they're still stuck in the loop of distress and psychological distress as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes when people don't really understand, or they think that they understand. I guess there's a third option. They think that they understand, but it's one thing to educate yourself on narcissism and never having been exposed to a truly devilish narcissistic person and just researching the topic. Now, I'm not saying that people are incapable of learning about narcissism just without being in a narcissistic relationship. What I'm saying is that it's a completely different thing altogether to go through it. And especially as a scapegoat, you've likely been going through this your whole life. And you just didn't even know it. And so some of the long-term effects of a scapegoat is a lot of grief. It's a lot of different kinds of grief, and it's a lot of different kinds of shame. And you might be very, very angry, but you don't know why. And that is going to put you in a very low vibrational state of mind. Everything vibrates, right? Everything has a specific kind of energy to it in some way, shape, or form. And so when you are associating yourself with a narcissist or these toxic situations in family units, you're actually hindering your own possibilities of self-growth and self-improvement. It might be better for you to step away from family or from the family unit or from the toxic situation altogether for a time to completely revamp yourself, and then maybe try to come back and see how things are going. And it's going to be likely the case that they're not growing. These toxic situations, these toxic people are not growing. They're very stagnant. They don't want to grow. They don't want to see what they're doing wrong. They don't want to be saved, right? They don't want to really have an understanding of who they are. And it's your job as the scapegoat then to break these cycles altogether. It is going to break these generational curses, breaking the generational upsets and upheavals. It's to completely heal from the generational pains and sufferings, and it's it's almost like you need to completely reframe your story. Because the story of what you tell yourself about yourself is not always the case, right? So I've met not just people in my past, but people that I'm working with now, and they tell themselves certain stories about who they are, or who they want to be, or what exactly they've been through. And it's like, you're literally telling yourself that you're weak. You know that, right? Like, you are literally telling yourself that you are a weak victim that is a puny, manipulated person that is easily manipulated. Why would you keep telling yourself that? Why would you keep telling yourself that you're easy to be manipulated? Hell no. Tell yourself, and even if you don't believe it right now, just self-talk. Self-talk is so important in the healing process as a scapegoat specifically. But generally speaking, in any kind of spiritual endeavor, self-talk is going to be very important. But for the scapegoat, you probably don't even know what it's like to have a positive, healthy relationship with yourself, because you were conditioned to attack who you are your whole life. And so you have to consider the possibility that what you are telling yourself is not true. And that's a tough situation to confront, because it damages who you think you are. And you have to burn parts of you away that you didn't think needed to be burned away. But now you're to that point. So you have to consider the possibility, and not only consider it, but act on that possibility, and to treat yourself as if you're somebody that is respectable. Treat yourself as if, for men out there, you have to look yourself in the mirror now and truly look at yourself in the mirror and look into your eyes and tell yourself, I am the man. I am the man now. And nothing is going to stop me. Nothing is going to take advantage of me. Disrespect will not be tolerated in my presence. And it's going to be uncomfortable if you are not used to confrontations with people, and you're used to people disrespecting you. It's going to be uncomfortable. It was for me. I hate confrontation. I still do. I don't like having a conflictive interaction with people, because it's not fun. But that's not really the point now, is it? It's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be strengthening you, making sure your soul and your spirit stays strong. Because God knows what happens when you let your soul be walked on and taken advantage of by the soulless, demonic possessed people around you. You have to protect your energy. You have to. It is not an option at this point in time in life, especially in the modern day times. It is not an option. I don't care how much money you have in the bank. I don't care how much money you don't have in the bank. I don't care what you have as far as assets or resources, or how much time you left have on this forsaken earth. You have to treat yourself as if you're the man. All right. Now for women, if you are the scapegoat in this family unit, or the toxic situation, or whatever toxicity you're involved with as a woman, you have to look yourself in the mirror, and you have to tell yourself, you have to truly accept that letting yourself be controlled is one thing, and being submissive is another. You do not have to be submissive to people that are not worth being submissive to. Okay? And it is your job to take accountability for the nourishment of your own soul. So look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you are worth loving, that you are worth being treated with respect, that you are worth being an understanding human being. You do not have to be weak as a woman. However, do not take this as an opportunity to be hypermasculine in what you do. You have to have a balance. This is one of the most difficult things that women have to go through, I think, in regards to healing from trauma, is they develop a hypermasculine mindset because they don't want to open their mind to the possibility that they can actually heal. They want to believe that they can heal, but they don't want to take the true steps to do it. I'm not saying this is all women. I'm saying most women that are dealing with trauma, in my experience. So what can you do as a woman that is a scapegoat? Focus on the good things that you have going for you and improve the things that are not going for you right now. As a woman, it's very important to understand that strength and honor are going to be part of your submissive personality and process as a woman. It takes strength to be submissive. It takes courage to be submissive. However, it does not take strength and courage to let yourself be controlled because you want the emotional highs and lows in a relationship. What I've noticed with women that are going through a lot of trauma is that after a while, they think that a peaceful relationship that doesn't have the emotional highs and lows, such as a narcissistic relationship, it's like something's wrong with the relationship and they can sabotage it. So don't sabotage it. Like I know that it's challenging because you follow your emotions. You're a very emotional creature as a woman. However, logic must play a role in order for you to heal. If you do not let logic, and if you're so resistant to logic that you are distrustful to the logistics of what's really happening in your life, you're not going to heal. So, and the same thing goes for men too. If you're going to resist logic so much, and if you're going to be so superstitious of relationships in general, you will not heal. And you absolutely will not understand what it is like to have an authentic, genuine, burning desire relationship with another person. And that would be something that you would miss out on in this life. So, I hope this information was useful and informative. And again, be sure to like and subscribe or comment. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Stay blessed. Till next time.